Muhammad Ali was mostly known to be the former American heavyweight champion boxer and one of the greatest sporting figures of all time. He was the first fighter in history to win a championship on three separate occasions, fighting 22 championship bouts, defending his belt 19 times in his 21-year professional career. He was born on January 17, 1942 in Louisville, Kentucky. He was named Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. after his father, and his mother's name was Odessa. He started boxing at the young age of 12 when his beloved bike was stolen. He had talked to an Officer Martin, who was also a boxing trainer at the time, and told the young Cassius that he should learn to fight. Clay then won his first fight 6 weeks later. At the age of 18, he achieved 2 national Gold Glove titles, 2 Amateur Athletic Union national titles, where he went 100 wins and 8 losses. And right after high school, he traveled to Rome to win a light heavyweight gold medal in the 1960 Summer Olympics. His first professional win was on October 29th, 1960, where he earned his nickname the Louisville Lip because of his arrogant banter and self-proclaimment. After winning his first 19 fights, he earned a title shot against the heavyweight champion at the time, Sonny Liston. And despite the big age difference, Liston being 32 and Ali 22, Ali was crowned heavyweight champion of the world after Liston did not get out of the corner at the start of the 7th round.
You must listen to me.
Now listen to me.
I am the double.
All right, hold it. Ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you
I
this.
can't be beat.
Joe, wait, hold it. They're booing the champ, but I don't think so. All right, tell us this.
Great.
All right, Cash. Thank you.
I'm great.
Thank you. Cassius Clay, the heavyweight champion. Let's get our champion.
Ali was not only a champion of the boxing ring, he was also very vocal about the injustices and racial inequalities that African Americans were facing during this time. And after the victory over Sonny Liston, Clay had changed his name to Muhammad Ali, a name given to him by the infamous Elijah Muhammad, and a very close friend to Malcolm X. Clay had claimed that he was given a slave name.
Why do you insist on being called Muhammad Ali now?
That's the name given to me by my leading teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's my original name. That's a black man name. Cassius Clay was my slave name. I'm no longer a slave.
What does it mean?
Muhammad means worthy of all praises, and Ali means most high.
Do you intend to fight under that name?
Yes, sir. I want to be called by that name. I write autographs with that name. I want to be known all over.
This is Islamic teachings. Russians have names like Kosygin or Khrushchev. You have names like O'Connor or Grady or Kennedy. And Africans had names like Lumumba, Nkrumah. And Jews got names like Weinstein and Goldberg. And Italians got names like Dundee and Benvenuti and Marciano. But we have names like Grady and Clay and Hawkins and Smith and Jones and Johnson, but we are black.
These are the slave names.
Yeah,
this
when
is the
I
part
heard this, I knew it was the truth. It's history. So Muhammad Ali is a beautiful black name of our ancestors. So when I heard this, I just had to walk out of the church and Christianity because they never taught it.
Ali's image outside of boxing made him one of the most beloved sporting figures in history. Not only were his hands and feet quick, his mouth and mind were very quick as well. Ali's statements were seen to be controversial and said in a very arrogant manner to the predominantly white media that was not ready to hear what he had to say. This was very controversial because during that time, Muslims and black athletes, especially black Muslims, were expected to keep quiet and just blend in. But Ali would not accept that. He wanted to let people know what he thought of regardless of his race or religious background. The media was never used to a black man speaking his voice, so they saw him as a threat. This is quite similar to the readings we have read from Edward Said. In the reading, Said had brought up issues regarding news media in the Western world seeing Islam as a dangerous religion. He talks about how Islam is characterized by a lot of general and repeated cliches. About the Middle East, a lot of our news is about terrorism and oil supplies, and in the media, Muslims and Arabs are represented as either oil suppliers or potential terrorists. This brings up Orientalism, and Orientalism is a way that people in the West see cultural differences of the Arab people as compared to cultures in the United States and in Europe. During this time, Martin Luther King Jr. had preached nonviolence during his speeches, but Ali had aligned more with the Nation of Islam's emphasis on self-defense and Malcolm X's views. If you hit me, I'll hit you back. People call Malcolm X the angriest Negro in America. He is just for justice, he says in his autobiography. He believes that if white people were attacked by Negroes and the law does not help protect them, then white people should be able to protect themselves from the Negroes if necessary with arms, and vice versa for blacks. A verse in the Quran reads, "Fight in the cause of Allah only because of those who wage war against you, but do not exceed the limits. Allah does not like transgressors." When Ali was drafted for the Vietnam War, he took a very bold stance and refused to fight in the Vietnam War. He had said that his religion and his relationship with Islam would not allow him to go to war. And in the Quran, chapter 22, verse 39, it reads, "Permission to fight back is hereby granted to those being fought, for they have been wronged, and Allah is truly most capable of helping them prevail." Ali believed that the Vietnamese people had done nothing to him to make him want to go and fight. They had never tried to lynch him, they didn't put any dogs on him, and they didn't try to rob him of his nationality. So why would he go and kill random people for big, powerful America?
And we who follow the most honorable Elijah Muhammad take no parts in wars. As the Holy Quran teaches us, we take parts in no wars on the side of infidels or Christians or non-believers in Islam. No wars unless it's declared by Almighty God, Allah himself, or his messengers. So the thing is, what type punishment or what type persecution would I receive here in America for my religion?
In Shahab Ahmed's readings, we had discussed that we have to understand Islam through contradictions. So can the celebration of wine drinking be Islamic? To Ahmed, the answer is obviously yes. For example, in the terms of Sufi terms, it can be described as the experience of intoxication with the divine, also recognized as a social lubricant. And to say wine drinking is un-Islamic may be similar to saying that the refusal to serve in the military during the period of wartime is un-American. And in the view of some citizens, such refusal may well violate the essence of being an American, and it also violate American law. However, to others, this act may rather fulfill the requirements of citizenship, and by Ahmed's logic, the refusal to serve in the military is not just American in spite of its opposition to other contradictory values associated with Americanness, but precisely because of it. Also, we have to remember that Ali was a professional fighter. Fighting is considered harmful, and causing harm to another being is condemned in the Quran, unless they are at war with Muslims and it is in self-defense. And even if your opponent is a disbeliever, he may be from among the people with whom you are at peace with, not those who are in a state of war with Muslims. So what right do you have to raise your hand against a man who is at peace with you? Muhammad Ali had lived his life by the Quran. He condemned the Vietnam War, saying they did nothing to him, so why would he want to go and fight them? He was extremely effective at pushing the idea of black excellence, and he used his voice to help black Muslims during the times of racial inequality. He had visited mosques, shrines, schools, and orphanages, saying that these visits were important to his Muslim practices. Acts of charity were a means of purifying one's soul and drawing nearer to Allah. He showed what he thought a Muslim should look like in America. He worshiped God alone. He spread goodness, like works of humanitarianism, like the negotiation of the release of American hostages and delivering medical aid to Cuba. And he even condemned the 9/11 attacks, saying Islam is peace and against murder and killing. He will go down in history as one of the greatest sports figures ever and lived his life as an exemplary Muslim. His image is a matter of pride for the Muslim community.